Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, petrol heads, and others.
Hola, senor,
Gary,
senoritas,
This is like old times.
and
Brew.
Colin. What's up, Doc?
It's a family show, Gary.
You've been doing things today, I see.
I've been doing lots of things, eh?
Oh,
To
okay.
lots of, unfortunately, to walls.
Serious?
Yeah.
What did the wall do?
Well, it just stood there and leaked. So, so welcome to episode. What is our episode number? This is waved yellow in case just by chance you got lost. If you got lost, take a good look and have a discussion with yourself because you're here on purpose. Welcome. What's our number? 65.
65.
It's almost as old as you are, hey Gary?
Yeah. And welcome to the Ox Daily English show.
No, you'd have to go through everybody because we'll be here the whole thing.
Brett.
And then we're going to spend the whole thing. Welcome, welcome. Brew, how's it? So,
Has it bruise?
because like we were in Cape Town and it's like fully, like, you know, like, wow.
And it was.
It was. So we were in Cape Town in case you missed it. If you missed it, why? I want to know why. Why did you miss it? Well, great
What's these
round
things?
two.
What's
These are
these things?
glasses, Gary. And the cool thing about them,
What are you trying to punch somebody or something?
no, the cool thing is you can wear them during the day. They're very old-fashioned, but hey, I'm old.
So you can see me now.
So I can check you, check me.
Okay.
And then when you walk into the sun, they go like darkness.
No, okay.
So it's like, hello, darkness, my old friend. Right, so
Evening, young ladies.
we have, we're back at Muck and Dream.
Muck and dream. Muck and dream.
We can only dream. Cape Town this weekend, round 2 of the G&H Transport Extreme Supercar Series. Remind me again what G&H Transport do. They are the world's leaders in transporting explosives.
Correct.
And they don't like premature bangs. Gary, nobody likes a premature bang.
Yeah.
So, and it's about controlled explosions. Pretty much like racing. It's about controlled explosions. Did you see how I just like moved from one to another? My skills. I've been working on it.
Is this another one of our science lessons?
Not yet. We'll
Oh,
get
okay.
to, no, today we're going to talk about physics.
Physics.
Yeah. No, that's
that
physical. Physics. What? Great racing in Cape Town. Let me tell you the way and I think that the headline of the event is the Franco Scribanti Porsche and Charles Rangi's Aston Martin battle, and it is a true battle. Each car has got their own. Is better in one area and has
Each
issues
got
in
their
others.
pluses and
It
minuses
is
that are different to one another.
Unbelievable, and strangely enough, the balance of their performance is pretty damn reasonable.
A bop again.
No. The performance on balance is reasonable. You know balance? So we get to physics.
Okay.
And do you know that you can have 100 kilograms works with...
Is this a hint I've got to get you a lapel mic?
Gary, I don't like lapel mics because they don't work. So you can have 100 kilograms at 1 meter and 10 kilograms at 10 meters,
Yeah.
and they're in balance. So 100 kilograms does equal 10 kilograms. So you've got an Aston Martin that does... Gary's spading all the... Yeah, there's an art class next door here. So Gary's trying to spade all the chicks that walk in and out here.
I'm not.
Gary,
I'm
you
saying goodbye.
Gary, you've got a frickin' forklift shovel out there, China. Anyway, so in terms of the physics, those two cars, they're unbelievable. The Porsche's quicker at the end of the straight, and surprisingly, they've got that thing from, put those, smoking is bad for you. Smoking gives you cancer, and it is a form of controlled suicide.
Talking about
I'm
that.
trying to get this man to stop smoking.
Talking about that.
Yeah.
But we'll get... Okay, Formula 1 we'll get to just now.
So the Porsche from the start of the brakes into the apex, unbelievable. And then of course, so I learned a hell of a lot
About time.
about racing and about things. Some of the things I learned: people are desperate to race.
Yes.
They'll do anything to race.
That's true.
We'll talk about the
And
detail
some
of
of
that.
them behave like
No.
in the desperation.
The racing in this country is pretty healthy. There are some pretty dodgy bits of stuff that go around.
Seriously dodgy, not pretty.
Okay. And if you on the right side of the mountain in Cape Town, it's freaking lekker. Oh, and I'll also work that if you get the right kind of suntan lotion or sunscreen, it protects you. And this is a health. Gary, we do science, we do maths, we do physics, we do health and safety. I don't like the safety part, but I suppose
talking about health.
safety. You see, boom.
Talking about health.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's time we got some sort of health practitioner to come and support us?
Yeah.
Not practitioner, practice. You know, like as in
Gary, you
a
beyond
health insurance company or something. Guys, if you want to support us, I mean, we need it. We'd love to have you on board. You know, like we could drop a couple of names.
Excuse me. Are you just like touting for business here? No.
Why not?
Right. So what surprised me? Guys are desperate to go racing. Up and down the pit lane. Gary, you walked a bit this weekend. It was freaking hilarious to see you walk so much. I think Gary did close to 10 kilometers of walking in a day and a half. And he was fubar. It was
Fubar is an understatement, but I was barati.
You do know the correct pronunciation, I mean the correct interpretation of fubar.
Educate us all. We're all waiting.
And Gary, I can't. Look at it. It's a family show. You got to look it up on Google.
Say Google.
Google is your friend, but it is a true. It's a true aviation program. FUBAR is a technical term. So Gary was FUBAR. But in the walking up and down the pit lane, we see many, many things. And there was in particular, a BMW, a Cape Town BMW, that was painted white and it had a great paint job with the typical BMW racing colors.
Yeah.
But its exhaust was, when the guy said, dude, I like to have an exhaust hanger. Somebody gave him a coat hanger by mistake. And I kid you not.
Yeah.
It's a family show, got to watch your language. I kid you not. The exhaust of this car was held on by a coat hanger, and it wasn't even done neatly. It was somewhere.
What was it attached to, by the way?
No, hold on. It was just somewhere, take a coat hanger and
yeah.
No pliers were involved in there. And the one part, just in front of the two silencer boxes, was attached to a suspension member. It was a square box. And I looked at it and I thought, two things.
Yeah.
I had admiration and complete disdain and surprise. My admiration was for a guy who made a plan. He just wanted to go and race his Beamer at Kalani on probably their biggest day. I wanted to vomit in my vomit when I saw this, because somebody had approved that car to go onto the track. Somebody. And that makes me the murring, that somebody can treat other people's lives like that. And then I laughed. So there was that. And then contrast that with some of the serious trick imported cars that are just full of safety and stuff and all the rest of it. So that's the one thing I learned. The other thing I learned was that motor racing is dangerous.
That is for sure.
And we say that motor racing is dangerous very glibly. And Davy Willefeed had a mur of a crash. And I don't want to talk about it now because our production department has reached out to Davy already, they told me.
We should actually get him. Oh, okay. You're jumping to me.
They've reached out to Davy, and I think it would be absolutely magnificent for us to sit down and talk to him, and not so much to be all morbid about this is what a crash is and oh my God, look how screwed up this car is, but rather from a point of view, what can we learn about it and what information can Davy and his team share with everybody else. Gary, is our sound technician screwed up? Just hold on a minute, guys, because he didn't do his job. So I'll be the stand-in. So the idea is to sit down and talk to Davy about what went wrong, what the impact was like, what his recovery has been like, and what the future holds. So our guys have reached out, and it'd be fascinating.
Davy, I know you're
Give
going to
you-
watch us later. Please return the phone calls. Sure.
Give you a very brief update. He has been discharged from hospital, and he's not allowed to fly until sometime in the future. Now, anytime anybody says you can't fly, it was not. Let me just put it this way. I think Davy is murva lucky to be alive. Combination of things. The latest level of crash helmet that he was wearing,
Yeah.
the strength that BMW was built to,
Yeah.
and a hell of a lot of luck. Never underestimate luck in racing. Alex Zanardi comes out of the pits, has one turn of bad luck, gets a little bit too much wheel spin, and he lost his legs and nearly died. But it changed his life, but he's a special human being. The other part of danger is that fire can strike at any time,
Yes.
and fire is hot, strangely enough.
Serious?
Gary, racing car fuel in the open air burns at about, I don't know, 1900 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, we know of a certain Lotus that didn't like it too too much.
And we're going to talk at some time in the future about that. But as my content advisor, my coach, said to me, too soon. And thanks for that advice. And so I'm taking that. So motor racing is dangerous. It will bite. There are crashes, there are fires, there are people that got hurt. And the other thing I learned is that people live up to their names. What does a fireman do, Gary?
He puts out fires.
Exactly. And what does a nailer do?
He nails things.
He hits nails. So what does an official do?
Neither of the above.
No, they official.
Oh, okay.
So when an official is an official, they must official. And if it means
Put your
officialing,
thumb down.
Hey you, move away, I said, and they become very officious. Look at that, that's a word, promise you.
Right, and then what happened?
Then I got ripped a new one because I was in an area that I wasn't supposed to be in. And
That made two of us
Yeah.
on the weekend.
strange that should happen. And then there was application of rules. Now, I'm all for rules, but I'm also for a certain amount of natural selection. If people are stupid and they do stupid things,
Yeah.
and they happen to meet their maker, that's okay. There's another one out of the gene pool. There should only be the clever left.
I hope this doesn't go politically.
So if you're stupid, sorry for you. We don't have stupid viewers. So from a race car safety point of view, make sure that you absolutely got the best. You do the best for your life. As you value your life, so you should put it into your race car. And Gary, I hope I'm not going on a bit. And if you're an official, the first rule is common sense. If you're going to send a man to the moon, you put him in a rocket, and there's a hell of a lot of safety protocols, Gary. And they look at the weather, and then they delay stuff until everything's ideal, and what. They light the fuse and send it. If you and I want to send a little one of these fire rockets to the sky, what do? Walk out to the grass, plant it, light the fuse,
And run like hell.
but it's the same thing. You've got a rocket that flies up,
Cheers, everybody.
and the one's just got a man. And there's a different level of protocols. Officials, please, just common frickin' sense. So that was Cape Town. The aeroplane left on time, and we got back here,
Yes, it did.
and then it rained.
Yeah, but another nice thing about that I liked about Cape Town was within the GNH Transport Extreme Supercars, the camaraderie amongst drivers and mechanics and guys willing to help a hand to opposite teams, etc. I found that actually quite encouraging, and in my mind, it bodes well for the sport because although you've got serious competition on track, and we looked at those dices between the Aston Martin and the Porsche.
Tell you what, at one stage, I thought that was going south. 3, 4, 5 times they went into turn 1 at Cape Town. That's about 240 km, 250 km an hour. It's quick, side by side on the brakes, but they didn't.
But they
touch.
clearly
they're not old production car drivers.
But what I liked was they actually had respect for one another, but still went full out racing.
And proper hard, eh?
Yeah.
There was no, oh my God, well, after you, it was It was
No,
was
if-
fantastic, and the crowd was good.
Yeah, if you think about it, in race one, the distance was .0 with a
Point a
7 of a
little bit.
second across the start-finish line. I mean, like that's
How many
a front
zeros?
wheel, a front wheel away.
How long
from
is
it.
that?
That's so long.
6 inches.
Yeah.
Gary. Okay, so that was that. Any other racing this weekend? Oh, there was. It was the first race of NASCAR, and officially it was it was a clash. It was
Just
pretty.
a quick one. Just before you go, Robbie Tiggs just asked, would like to hear our opinion regarding the Scribante saga. Now, I'm going to ask Robbie to please type a little bit more information about how he perceived it, then we can answer that.
What's he talking about?
Yeah,
I know nothing.
Yeah, I mean...
I saw lots of stuff. But, I've got to be careful because sometimes I might just say too much, Robbie. And sometimes there's some people that I lost. I know what I want to say. But Gary,
like we've said, this is a family show, and we had to talk about the positive stuff in motorsport, although negative does become a positive sometimes. And
look, if you're going to be an arsehole, you're going to be an arsehole. And if you've got common sense, you're going to be common sense. And I've always urged that there's the DBAC society has look it up. Really, Google
it, guys.
DBAC.
Yeah.
They're a part sponsor of our show. In fact, they're one of the founding partners of the show. And that should be one of the first tenets
yes,
of any part of motorsport. So I think that gives you what I feel about that. Look, bottom line is there was racing and then we came back. Okay, enough about that. There was NASCAR this weekend.
yes.
And I didn't get to watch it because somebody at a television station that charges way too much money hasn't woken up yet. They don't respect their readers. So if anybody knows
Viewers.
anybody at Supersport, please can you tell them that NASCAR is murder big in South Africa, and hey, just check your program out. If you type NASCAR in, the the thing on that stupid program comes up nothing. So I think it's actually time to go full on streaming because it's there.
It is.
Right.
Yes.
It was the first race of the Ford Mustang. It seems that the Fords that they've actually done their job properly. Ford in Australia,
was this a new one?
the new
Okay.
Mustang, because they've changed from a Fusion to a Mustang. Ford Australia have had their cars, and you know that they're now they've got a new ECU supplier in Aussie. So they've got a new gearbox, new ECU supplier. The Ford Mustang has broken cover there. I nearly said broken wind, but it's broken cover.
You just did.
And the new ECU allows them to monitor things a little bit more. They're trying to make things a little bit simpler, but sometimes in making things simpler, you actually make things more expensive because they've gone away from a two-spring rule, where you have a linear spring of two different rates. And for those of you, time for a maths lesson, a science lesson. Gary,
Okay.
hold the mic.
Oh, okay.
Just at the right angle. You've got to get, because apparently it's got to be a fist width away, not a finger width away. And so what you do, when they talk about two springs, you've got one spring of one rate and another spring of another rate. And when you squash them together, they've got a combined rate. But generally, this is the softer one, so that's the wheel that's hanging, and you want to try and just keep it on the ground, particularly when you've taken some curb. And sometimes it's called a helper spring, and that will compress, and then you.
Is that similar to what we did on Peter
Solberg's
Solberg? Peter
yeah.
If you guys want to see that, go and have a look at the Peter Solberg video. It's in our playlist, and you can actually see Colin does a pretty in-depth thing, and we got busted for that too, didn't we? A pretty in-depth explanation of how that works.
Have you indexed those things yet?
Yes.
Because I know that you've been so super busy with research. So that's the one thing they've done. But being Australia, we'll still see what happens there. There's other news about our favourite van der Linde family.
Yeah.
Gary, you know the story. I know nothing.
Calvin is now officially signed for, I'm going to get this wrong, guys, so just forgive me, okay? It's called RCB Racing. I think that's the best way of putting it, okay? It's in Facebook. You just hashtag or @ RCB group and you'll find racing. He signed for them for 2019. It's a two-car team.
In what, Gary?
In ADAC GT Masters.
So what else is... So this is Kelvin. Now he's doing two things.
Yeah, he's riding for Audi as a works driver in the GT Intercontinental Challenge, which
Gary,
is coming to
the
South Africa in November.
Gary, have you had replies from the press department of SRO, Stefan Rattel organization?
All I get is not open at the moment for Guy Allow me.
Gary, use your connections, because I believe you got some. Okay, so the other thing that he's doing is, this is Kelvin, he's doing the Intercontinental Challenge as a full-on works Audi
Correct.
driver, and then?
He's doing GT Masters.
As a full-on works Audi driver?
Yes.
I believe that team's in the south of Germany.
Correct.
Yeah, Stuttgart.
Yeah, where your friend comes from.
The oak with a moustache?
Yeah, that oak.
No, that was Strasbourg.
Pick a city, see if I care.
But no, he doesn't come from there. He was Austrian. He's not my friend either.
Make up your mind. Who's your friend and who's not your friend?
Gary.
Between you now, we don't have many of those
Do you
things.
know that
like
there's a story today, just talking about friends and who's not your friend? A university in America, as only things can happen in America. This guy decides he wants to be a weightlifter. So he practices weightlifting and all the rest of it. And then, because you can in America, and this is how, I nearly said a word, this is how screwed up things are. He enters as a woman, and he wins the chicks weightlifting. Because he decided, because in America you can you can choose. It doesn't mean if you've got a penis, normally you're a boy. If you've got a vagina, you're a girl. In some places in the world, you can say, well, today I'm feeling like a bit of a durs, I'll be a chick.
Hey, you want us to bring out the jingle jar again?
All right, so that's actually really good news for Van der Lindes. I know the other thing that they were doing, and I think that is really cool, is Signature Motorsport they've got a whole new load of drivers, and in GT2 GT2, whatever they call it.
GT.
And it's not that oil company anymore because they were arseholes, I believe.
GTC.
In GDC2, in Falcon Tires, Polo Cup, got that right. So they bring in both Van der Lindes, in fact more than both Van der Lindes. They bring in Kelvin, and they bring in Etienne, and they bring in Sean. So they've got like a litany of 20,000 years of experience, and they're using part of the tie-up is Van der Linde family are passing on all their technical issues. So let me tell you, those cars are going to fly. This weekend, Gary, very quiet today, aren't you?
No, there's a bit of local racing going on. Those of you who don't know what's cooking, you make your way down to Red Star, which is out there by the East Rand.
You've got a friend who, when you say a bit of local racing.
Yeah, it is.
It's the first round of the Mobile 1 V8s. That's when they've got all the old V8s and the old Troppies driving them, and they bring them out.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's cool.
And then there's also the Motormate VW Challenge, which is also going on that same weekend.
But there's barks as well, huh?
Yeah, there's some barks. There's like the ZX10 Masters Cup, etc.
But there's no Lamborghinis, and no Aston Martins, and no Ferraris, and no, like we had at G&H Transport Extreme Supercars, because they're really cool.
Yeah, none of those.
And then the other cool thing is that we're starting to get into the Campos 600, second week of March in Cape Town.
Correct,
for this
15th and 16th of March.
Thank you, Gary. For the first round of the South African Endurance Series. Now, each year I've seen the last 3 years I've seen the Endurance Series. And there's been an escalation and a development of the second part of endurance racing. The first part being the drivers and the car on the track.
Correct.
But with, excuse me, Gary. It must have been that Alka-Seltzer I took earlier. The second part the important part of endurance racing is the pit crew and the pit equipment, the refueling, both from a safety point of view, and I think that a lot of people are going to be looking after the fire in Cape Town this weekend. And we will talk when a lot more technical info has come out about the fire in the Lotus. Your driver is a K. And
But
in
let's
closing,
let's leave it.
we'll talk about that later. That's what I meant.
Just a quick one. Matt Nash, thank you very much for highlighting. I didn't forget about it. I just didn't remember. He just indicated to us it's the biggest NSCC field this weekend, which is also out at Red Star.
What is NSCC?
National Sports Car Club.
Awesome stuff. So the Nashes are going to have a fleet of...
So there'll be a fleet of... Nash, what do we call a fleet of Nashes? I mean, like a whole lot of Lamborghinis are a herd of buffalo. Herd of Lamborghinis. Ferraris are something
Gary.
else. We can't use that word here. No, okay, we won't.
Gary, focus, China. Just check my eyes. Focus, bro.
See,
So I've got
to
to teach him. Gary, we're waffling. We need to keep
Matt,
it
thank
concise.
you for that. Thank you for that. There's 11 Nashes out there this week.
Okay, so 11 Nashes.
Yep.
Now, Nash they have done incredibly good work in building a budget, and a relatively cost-conscious racing car that isn't tech-heavy conscious. So basically, even you and I could go and run one of those in a race and do quite well.
Well, if you ask Nash, then maybe something will happen. I don't know.
Oh, Gary,
Matt?
there's all sorts of hoops to fall through. Anyway, the officials are going to official me. And you know what I think of officials. Right. The other thing is a whole lot of Formula One cars got launched. Don't believe any of those pictures you see. They're all going to change before the race. The
Just a
color
quick
schemes
one.
are going to change. They're all just going me. Even, do you tell you how bad it is? Williams. They're even now admitting they're going to run late. Oh.
Do you know that the tobacco companies are getting back into Formula One?
They've been in Formula One. They've never left Formula One. So
Yeah, I mean, this is from a visible point of view, but you
no,
won't
but
see
they've been
cigarette
visible all along.
with a subtle little flash here and a subtle
So
little
if you
ding
take the Mission Minnow, from the right angle, it looks just like the Marlboro logo.
Yes.
And now BAT are going to try and get involved because, oh my God, they're all trying to be healthy. But do you know that they've all bought up all the e-cigarette companies and all the alternatives? Like so sharp.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, if there is anything that in particular that you want us to look at, Gary's busy looking at all your comments here, let us know and we will endeavor to meet you. Oh, the other thing that...
Yes.
Sorry, my mind is like a sieve.
Okay.
The Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa team are off to Qatar for NASA to have his first race as Dakar King. And so they're going over.
Any news
taking
on
two cars.
the Formula One guy that's supposed to go and test NASA's car? Or will he do it after this Qatar thing?
Gary, there's so much BS around
Okay.
what, when, how, and why. I'm waiting for our invite because we were promised by she who
Rules
everybody knows rules the roost
That's right.
at Hall Speed. She has promised us that she will let us know and invite us to go and... I've been practicing my Espanol. I've learned to lisp. And the words, hola Fernando, ¿cómo está? Right.
So just to everybody out there, and you guys, you're the guys that make us run and keep us going. So if you'd like us to get and find out things about certain things, and I'm talking about real things now, I'm not talking about whether officials are good officials. I'm not interested in that. That happens on a race day. But workshops we can go and visit. Guys that would like us to come and talk to them and things like that. Discussions with technicians, discussions with race drivers, etc., etc. Put in the comments. That's what the comments are there for. If you put information in the comments, we can respond to it, we can make a plan, and we can start putting those things in place. Correct?
Yeah. I want to do something about the physics of a crash, how stuff burns, and staying alive.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's about it. But to all of you out there from me, okay, because I've got to do other things to make the show finish, from me, have an awesome weekend. If you're on a racetrack, keep it between the white lines on the black stuff.
No,
sunny shine up.
Just pin it. As long as there's tarmac, make sure you've got 2 wheels on it.
Peter Bell, you asked for rallies. We are busy working on it, and hopefully we will have something on
Rallies.
rally. Yeah.
There's in rallying in South Africa, just a snippet of useless information. They run to front-wheel drive 1600. Can I do my sound?
They're going to jump down your throat.
There's a whole lot of, it's like a whole lot of sound signifying little fury and anyway. But you can now have 1,000cc turbocharged.
This is getting as stupid as what I think it's getting, like in track
Anyway,
racing.
rallies, there's a skill involved. Yeah. And on that note, our cameraman has to go and do some other stuff because in the rain in Joburg, stuff happens. So when you're driving in the rain, appropriate speed. You don't have to crawl because that's stupid. Make sure your tires are good. Put the best tires on the front because you need them to steer. Make sure the inside of your windscreen is clean. And most of all, and I know none of you do it, but tell your friends, don't operate your cell phone when you're trying to operate a car. On that note, thanks for watching. Be awesome. Be fantastic. Check you next week. Cheers.